So I've been working on Goryo's Ketramose for a little bit lately, and how do I put this? I think yesterday was a pretty good example of what I'm thinking about here. Where yesterday we played the Detective's Phoenix Flage Ketramose deck, a version that was a lot more in on the graveyard. We're playing Faithless Looting, but if you're a deck that's playing Ketramose and you are reliant on your graveyard, you are kind of actively happy when your opponent is boarding in graveyard hate against you. Does that make sense? If your opponent is boarding in graveyard hate against you and you're a Ketramose deck, you get to turn that graveyard hate into just advantage for you, either pressure with Ketramose or card advantage with Ketramose, sometimes both. And so I was wanting to kind of exacerbate that idea from the Phoenix Flage build we had yesterday. Lost playing for a trophy for that one, by the way. I wanted to exacerbate that by putting Ketramose in a Goryo's build. And so I was working on a Mardu version. I was working on an Esper version. And those might still come out. I think Mardu is a little bit closer to me right now than Esper, but they're both pretty close. But I kept thinking to myself that when I was working on Mardu and Esper, like I really want to play Psychic Frog and I really want to play Faithless Looting. And so I'm thinking to myself, well, how can I do that? And then I'm thinking to myself about another deck that also just does play Ketramose and plays Psychic Frog and can afford to play red, which is of course Domain Zoo. And I think there's even some extra interesting overlap here where Territorial Kavu is a card that works well with Ketramose because it can exile stuff to draw cards. It's a card that works well with Goryo's because it can loot away, and it's also a freaking beefy boy. And I don't know. I think the deck, as weird as this stream's title is, Goryo's Ketramose Domain Zoo, I think the deck has just a very good overlap here, where we have Psychic Frog, Territorial Kavu, Leyline Binding to enable our Ketramose. We have Looting, Psychic Frog, Kavu to loot away our Atraxa. Looting also lets you loot away extra copies of Leyline of the Guildpact, which can be a bit awkward early. And I don't know, I just think it came together really well. So yeah, I think let's just go ahead and get in there. Reyes with the 53 months. Hope you're doing well. Reginald with the 32. Welcome back. Sir, I think your Discord's been hacked. Yes, this has been a common scam to impersonate me and other streamers and try to get your details. And as a general rule of thumb, if a streamer is cold DMing you, it's not going to be good. It's not going to be good. You're going to get scammed. You're going to get groomed. It's not just don't respond. It's not going to work out well. So this has been happening a lot. That someone is impersonating me on Discord. Yes. I have never and will never cold DM fans. And I think those are very safe. I think that I would love to see people playtest Deathrite Shaman. Deathrite Shaman is nice to have these main deck consigns. Deathrite Shaman I think is pretty cool to possibly unban, but I want to see it tested. You could possibly unban Punishing Fire. I wouldn't unban Glimpse, just because I think Glimpse is really bad gameplay. Okay, is there much difference between killing the Talisman and killing the Sprawl? They might take damage here, I think. That's probably good enough for me. No, I think I need to play the Kavu here. Thoughts on Uro? I would never unban Uro. And I should have also, I mean, they can't World Breaker me here, but I probably should have fetched to not, if they can, kill my Leyline, not let my Kavu die. Or like Uro with Consign is insane. Uro with Rumble is insane. With Woodland, with Fanatic of Ronus are all like very dangerous. With Green Sun Zenith, it's like there's a long list of like reasons to not unban Uro. I believe WotC's saving iconic cards for unbans when the format is abysmal to bring people back thoughts. I mean, there's a lot of like random speculation you can do with when it comes to like what Wizards of the Coast is doing, but as always, it doesn't seem like it has a lot of rhyme or reason. It just kind of happens when it happens, and I encourage you to just not try to like figure it out, I guess. Just, you know, let whatever happens, happens. Yeah, so I think we need to hold up the Consign this turn. Naya Stoneblade, all caps. 4 Fervent, 4 Guide, 4 Fried, 4 Stoneforge, 4 Gearhawk. I thought about building decks like that. I still want to cast the Aether Spark. I haven't done that or put into play with Stoneforge Mystic. We'll see. Yeah, I think you could unban Ponder. My biggest issue with Ponder is that I see people in paper take just too long to resolve the card. But I don't think that that's such a big issue overall. It's like, you know, of all the problems we could have, people taking a long time to resolve Ponder is kind of okay. Obviously, and it doesn't even happen every time, of course. More so countering this so I can keep the pressure going than countering this to... Do I keep this for Frog? Or for Ketramose? I think I keep this for Ketramose. So I have a land in place so my Kavu doesn't die anymore if they haywire my Leyline. Dig Sanctuary. I would just never unban those, of course. It doesn't really make any sense. Right. We're like, what the fuck are we talking about? No, you're not a commander player. I do have a couple commander decks, but I haven't played in a while. So going after my Leyline. Do you think the Wizards will unban any commander cards that beat? Yeah, I have no idea. What equipment would you run on a Stoneblade build in 2025? Well, has anybody played with the Aether Spark, or are you guys still waiting for me to cast it? Because I know I need to cast the Aether Spark at some point. I don't know when that point is going to be, I suppose. How about Cruise Dig? I just answered Dig. It's silly, I think, to even suggest these cards. Like I think they would be like obviously poor on bans, but I don't know. You could be big brain, see a clear picture that I can't see, but to me it makes no sense to unban these cards. They were really bad for Magic the Gathering when they were legal before. That's how I remember it, at least. Okay, so let's play a Ketramose. I think I'm just gonna get a basic plains. We get Hallowed Fountain. Let's get Hallowed Fountain so I could draw Consign. Nice. Okay, so let's just go attack Karn, attack them, attack them. Simian Spirit Guide also silly at the unban. When Simian Spirit Guide was legal last time, there were how many decks that could win the game on turn 1? You're bringing back turn 1 wins just as a regular part of the format with Simian Spirit Guide being legal. Okay, so if I let this resolve, I lose my Kavu, I lose this. I can attack them for 9, or sorry, not for 9, for 8, and they're at 9. My opponent could theoretically cast all his dust. I think this is okay. Like, they lose their talisman. I have a lot of good top decks. I get to put them to 1 life, and I have a Consign in my hand, so I think we should be okay. Okay, they don't know that they could afford to crack this. Maybe they have a K command as their last card. BNR is at the end of the month, which is why we've been actually having this conversation. So it's 20 days from today. All right, they put an Eldrazi Temple in their hand. No slow roll. Just going to cast the Binding. Does Seething Song need to stay banned? Yes. Like, it doesn't. At the very least, it doesn't seem like a very appropriate time to unban it when Storm is currently a pretty good deck. All right, I think Dingo's been saying that he's been liking to board in Wear Tears in this matchup. And again, against the non-removal heavy decks, I've been liking to cut the Ley Lines. I think I'd like to bring in the Stubs. I think Snare is pretty good against them as well. So let's sideboard like this. Let's get in there. But yeah, like, they printed Ral, they printed Ruby. Seething Song just shouldn't come off. Why did you need to cast the Binding? Doesn't Ketramose have Menace and Scion Flying? Right. At very least, it made them concede faster. Did it give away any good info? Why is Ashiok good? Well, I think this deck has two options. Completely concede the Amulet matchup or play some Ashioks. I thought about playing Torpor Orbs, but it messes up with the Atraxa plan a little bit. So, you know, I think if I'm going to shit talk Titan as much as I do, I should at least play some freaking sideboard cards for it. And this is certainly the best sideboard card we could play. Well, I'm not someone who likes to mulligan double Consign against Eldrazi, so let's keep. I think with drawing third Consign, I would consign a Talisman here, even though I have Wear Tear. I think the mana efficiency is pretty important. Fortunately, no Snare or Stub. Chalice, Talisman, Commercial District. They choose a Chalice. Pretty good there. Got to get at my Triome, I think. All right, let's cast our Faithless Looting. Well, yeah, I think that's okay because we still have the 1 mana Consign up, but yeah, I think we should do this. They didn't reveal a Devourer. Maybe I just discarded Ketramose here. It's a little clunky. Yeah, Beans might get banned in Standard. I haven't been watching as much Standard content lately. But I definitely enjoyed my time playing. Interesting they use the spawn token, so they're kind of implying they have like a K command. Dude isn't so sure about Beans. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I will say, like, in my mind, as someone who had just kind of a brief like return to Standard after a long time. Okay. So good choice on the K command since I've just now had my thing exiled. So 2 cards in exile. I really need to get this Kavu down. I also really need to hold up Replicate Consign. Let's just hold up mana here, I think. And then one thing I can do is I can Goryo's my Ketramose at a turn. And it exiles itself on the inside and I draw a card. So I can do that if I feel like I just really need to draw a card, but I would prefer to not have to do that. Yeah, for me, but I felt like Beans was the worst part about Standard when I was playing a bunch of it. Kick a Mycospawn. Beans shouldn't be banned. It's the best card advantage in the format, but something has to be. I don't think this is a great argument because I just do think it's a little bit too efficient. I mean, Beans is a very broken card, right? But I think like that something has to be isn't a great point. Zero and Binding are both rotating the multiple slow decks to be the one. Yeah, I think that's fine if like again, I'm not a Standard expert, but I do just genuinely think the argument it's the best card advantage engine, but something has to be is not something I'm usually very partial to, I guess. Like it's up the beanstalk. That card is pretty poorly designed. It's obviously much better and it was always much better in Modern, but Up the Beanstalk is the best card advantage spell ever printed in Modern. It's probably not. It's not very good to compare that to its effects in Standard, I think, but probably worth noting a little bit. All right. Well, I'm happy to have drawn 3 Consigns, and then we get to Wear Tear these 2 things. Is it better than Cruise? It's like much better than Treasure Cruise even. Maybe not much better. It'd also be good with it if they were both legal together if that's worth anything. Yeah, I'll just go to Wear Tear here. Yes, but yes, better than Treasure Cruise. Okay, that's pretty good. You could unban Hypergenesis, Jitte, and green and black artifact land. Is green? I feel like green artifact land's the second best one, but maybe I don't know. Maybe it's not. Oh, that's my black source. So I took this mana base from Mingu, and Mingu was playing just one Blood Crypt, and I added a Raucous Theater. So I do have a second black source here. But not in my hand, of course. Alright, is it better to play a second Kavu, or is it better to hold up Stub? I think it's better to play a second Kavu. Yeah, Ring was better than Ring. In fact, they were legal, I think. They were legal at the same time, and Bean was much better. I think so. Maybe I'm misremembering, because it's just... time is so mushed together in my brain these days. But yes, so actually they were legal together, right? Because I kept saying this, I kept making the same point where, like, if you had 3 beanstalks or 2 beanstalks in your opening hands, you had the nuts. If you had 2 or 3 rings in your hand, you usually had the mulligan. That was like, I think that was the main thing I would say that would kind of convince people that beans was better than ring. So I guess if they might go spawn this, then oh, okay. Damn it. I haven't played against Energy yet, no. Is it fair that Beans is why Fury was banned before Grief? Is it fair? I don't even know what this is asking. Grief should have been banned, and Fury should probably be still legal, I think. I think MH3 would have been a little bit more digestible if that was the case, too. Yeah, our other black source is a Surveil land, so I have to top deck a Binding, I think. Thanks, Bulldozer. Mario said for years the green card draw should be based on creatures, and then they made Beanstalk. IDK if it's a massive mistake or part of a philosophy change or both. Yeah, hard to say. I mean, green has always kind of been the color of, like, random-ass broken cards, like Fast Spawn, Channeled, Natural Order, Exploration. I don't know, maybe that's a weird one to group in there. Drop of Honey. Just like weird, like a Survival of the Fittest. Just like weird random cards that are just so powerful. It certainly shouldn't be like explicitly that, right? But it kind of has always been that at the same time. Yeah, so it looks like I just have 4 bindings as an out, with maybe an extra look with the Kavu. Yeah, Sylvan Library. Hermited Druid is a good one. Yeah, Once Upon a Time. Like, they've always Oko, they've always kind of do this, but they probably shouldn't be, huh? He loses, he plays Frog. We thankfully can't play Frog. Let's go, baby! MTGO Premium. Play to your outs, baby. Yeah, Glimpse is a good one too. Why didn't they cast Goryos and stub it? I have no black mana. They've killed my black mana. But it says XD. I, a millennial, say lol. And say GG's. Looks like a keep. Beans would be way more manageable if Tidebinder could turn off enchantments. You know, I had the exact same thought. Actually, when I played the SCG in Atlanta, I Tidebindered a Bean. And then my opponent cast a spell, and I didn't draw a card, and I'm like, is this a missed trigger, or is this they think Tidebinder's turned off, and I'm like, I didn't want to misrepresent my card, so I'm like, you get to draw a card. And they did think it was a Tidebinder that turned it off. Is main deck? Yeah, main deck Consign is to stop the Goryos from exiling. Oh, is this the Rhinos deck? Okay, I think with no Leyline, I don't want the second Scion. Like Kavu and Ketramose are just so much better, and Frog maybe even too. Yeah, it was kind of a weird situation, right? Where like, in general, like if you think you're like this is a situation that could just be your opponent's missing their trigger, but it seemed to be the appropriate thing to point it out, and like it seemed to me that like if they missed the trigger, they would have said they missed it, and if they thought Tidebinder turned it off, they would have said to turn it off. That was kind of my thinking. Is it missed? Yeah, but like also like I didn't know to me it felt a little against the rules, but it did also kind of feel kind of close. It was an interesting tournament situation, so fun to bring up and debate maybe. Do I want to attack? I guess not, actually. So what's their plan here? Titan player Charlotte got DQ'd at 10-1. What was the thesis? Sorry about that. I don't know where that came from. You know, untap Temple Garden. They can't cast a binding though. They suspend the Footfalls. All right, pretty good top deck. Fire Shoes has an entire thread cooking. Okay, might read it later. I'm not big into the drama, you know. When I watch the NBA, I just hope everybody has a good time. Okay, so up a game against Rhinos. Consign is very good against them. Counters Scion, counters Cascade Trigger, counters Suspend Trigger. Let's bring in the Stubs as well. Could play some Wear Tears for their own ley lines. Do we have any weak links here? Frog is kind of small, but it flies over stuff. Oh yeah, except Nico, my nemesis. I feel like I want to go down like 1 Frog, 2 Looting. Click some up. Nico. Poor Esther. Esther is so sweet. I've been getting into the NBA, and she like it was I like LeBron, but I'm a Mavericks fan, and she bought me tickets to Mavs versus Lakers like the day after my birthday, which is April 9th, and my social security number is 42069, and and then all this and she was so excited. I'm still excited, but then all this drama with Luka happens, and like we have like 3 Mavericks players healthy. It's like will the game even happen if like 2 more injuries happen? and she's sad about it now. Okay, I think I want to play a Kavu first here. Yeah, it'll still be fun. I'm excited to go. I haven't been to a regular season NBA game in a long time. We went to a preseason one this year, or last year, I guess. Can I speak about this build rather than Persist Archon? Yeah, I think you could do both. So I guess that's maybe not speaking on it so much, but you could play both. I think one nice thing about this deck is Consign is like a pretty good card to play, and you get some cool extra equity registering it in this build, I think. Beyond just and then the Consign subs your Atraxa triggers. Atraxa also digs you really deep for interaction, which is nice, but Archon is also just the interaction. So you could maybe play Persist Archon, and then you would open up some slots. You could to maybe main deck Stubborn Denial instead of Consign. That could totally be doable. Atraxa is kind of hard castable too. I feel like intentionally allowing your opponent misunderstanding of a card is self-defeating because it contributes to a culture that's less likely to have an opponent in the first place. You know, I kind of agree. And like in general, my my philosophy on these kind of like weird tournament situations are like just do what feels right to you. And I think this is probably just good life advice in general when you're encountering a difficult situation like this. It's just like sometimes in life, like they don't tell you what to prepare for, or it can be kind of clear to understand if you're doing the right thing, and you just kind of have to do your best. And if something feels wrong, you should probably consider doing something else. All right, I guess I'll just actually attack with a Kavu, play a second Kavu, hold up a 1 mana card here. Had a fever dream about Stock Up and Twin. You're already playing the Flare negation package in Wizards, and Flare has been good. Maybe. Listen, there are some people who are like really, really stocked up. You know what I mean? I don't know if I'm one of those people, but this kind of sounds interesting. The gacha culture of Magic, maybe stop playing tournaments. Yeah, I remember like back in the day, for lack of a better word, like pre-COVID, there was definitely a tournament culture. It was very intense, very serious. You had to play you communicate very clearly. You had like everything was very cutthroat, maybe for lack of a better word. And it certainly does seem like post-COVID, there's been an almost distinct culture shift, I would say. And that, the people are just like a lot more willing to not be as like ready to kill you. But it's a pretty nuanced topic, I think. So they have Crashing Footfalls coming down. Should I even like consign this? I guess so. But in Magic the Gathering and in life, if something feels wrong, if something feels a little sketchy, probably shouldn't be doing it. It's kind of a weird mana sequencing hand. So I'm in a new matchup. I think we keep. We can Binding turn 2 if we don't draw another fetch land. What's the difference? Well, I guess I'm maybe doing a poor job articulating this, but I have a thesis that there was a change in culture and like tournament Magic post-COVID, and so I'm just interested if you have an opinion. I want to hear when you started playing. So they took my Scion. I started playing post-COVID. Child striking feels scummy. I'm the champ of that game. Should be played as intended, and this is something that just want to work on Moto. Yeah, I think that's fair. And I do feel like this is part of like the newer culture. Is the Oculus Birthing Ritual deck dead? I mean, we had a really bad time with it last time we played it. I don't know if that qualifies as dead. So they know I have Binding in my hand. I'm just going to go into Binding this now. I started playing at 97. I'm old. I just expect my opponents to know how to play the game, not miss their triggers. Yeah, and this is the old culture. This is like exactly what you'd say. I don't have a very strong opinion on the topic. I have a strong opinion on some topics, but I think it's cool when we have these conversations to like hear where people are coming from. I think it's a pretty productive way to do it. Well, obviously, Atraxa is really nice if we can attack with a Kavu. Very funny, my opponent saw this hand, and my draws have been Goryo's Atraxa. So I'm playing a 93, Child's Checking, and Angle Shooting, parentheses, is scummy. Yeah, I agree that Angle Shooting is bad. For like Child's Checking specifically, like it just was the tournament culture, like this one specific thing. It was very common. It was just something everyone did. And it was almost like it was just part of the game and like just your normal paper scene for whatever that's worth. All right, I guess let's go surveil main phase and see if we mill over to Atraxa. But I think that's good feedback, and I appreciate your comment. I think I don't really think there's any perspective that are super like right or wrong here, but oh right, wait, hold on. Oh, my other surveil lane is a Thundering Falls. I can't get it with Marsh Flats. So I guess I just get this tapped. A little oopsie doopsie. Any VOD of the Mono Red Duretti Opal deck on my Mox field? Probably. I've got a whole YouTube channel for the VODs, so I would go digging in there. I've got an editor who does the upload, so I assume it got uploaded, but I don't usually check. Morpheus, the 16 months. Thank you. Welcome back. So this Kavu resolved. I drew a looting. Well, I guess I am just going to go to combat here. Thank you again, Morpheus, for the 16. I think we should probably binding this. Interesting. So we can deal 1 damage, then another damage, and this will be they could double block and kill it. The guy Fire Shoes was down a game. His opponent was having lethal on the stack. His only out was to angle shoot, which ended up getting the opponent DQ'd without prizes invite. The worst part is just like with Chalice. If Noah was found to be wrong, he could just say, "Oh my bad, let's keep going." Well, I would certainly love to hear a little bit more details than the guy's only out was to angle shoot, and he angle shot, you know. But I will also say this, you know, as the Magic community is always so thirsty to like for a villain, like unbelievably villain thirsty usually. So I try to always engage these conversations with trying to understand all the facts before I make an opinion, which is the only area of my life I do that. Everywhere else I'm like opinion first. I guess I don't want Ketramose into the with me only having 1 card in exile, so I guess I'll take the frog. I could also maybe Goryo's this Ketramose at some point. And I don't have another untapped. I don't even have another black source in general, so I guess we are just passing. I didn't find the consign for the Atraxa. Goryo's second made no consign. Well, look, my opponent has just 1 mana up. This is very likely to resolve, right? Atraxa sees 10 cards for a consign, so I was pretty likely to hit. It didn't happen. But I would do this again against my counterspell deck opponent who just has 1 card in hand, almost tapped out. It feels like just correct to jam there. Do you think they got worse over time as far as trying to find a villain? I don't know if it used to be that bad, but maybe it's cultural now. I think it's always been that bad, yeah. At least in Magic. It certainly has seemed this way for a while, as long as I've been playing. Most pro players will agree Chalice Check is normal and the right way to play. I know that that's the case. That also doesn't mean that they're right. It doesn't mean they're wrong either. And again, this is just I think it's an interesting combo topic we've had a few times. It's not, you know. I think it's an interesting cultural divide on this one. Can you do it in step so it could block? I could do that, yeah. The downside of that is the inability for us to like play a Scion or like any like good card we top deck. So probably going to be feeding this frog some Leylines and Lootings. So I'm in a camp of not personal chalice checking, not condemning. Yeah, I stopped chalice checking probably. Like I used to chalice check when I was like a big tournament grinder a long time ago. I stopped doing it years ago, and like it just I don't know. I guess that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like it just used to feel fine because it was the culture, and it kind of started to feel like once there's like new people who weren't familiar with the interaction, and it was weird because like you were just definitely getting them with their like tournament inexperience. It just started to feel wrong, so I stopped doing it. And I have a hard time pinpointing when that was, but there just was a shift, I think. Okay, so I don't want to be casting Ketramose pre-combat here, but I'm kind of happy to have drawn it. Getting in. I'm going to exile just the same Marsh Flats twice so I could double activate Frog if I want to. Just so I can have, for sure, Ketramose online. Isn't Chalice Striking kind of cheating? And again, this is what I'm talking about. Some people think it's just cheating. This was how Magic was played pre-COVID. And this is exactly what we're talking about, is that there just was almost certainly a distinct cultural shift at some point in tournament Magic. And this is just exactly what we're talking about, is that some people do think it's cheating, some people don't. Maybe I should have Goryo's the Ketramose. And this is, so someone brought this up too, like the vast majority of, and this is certainly true, the vast majority of pro Magic players are totally fine Chalice checking. Because this just used to be the culture. Okay, so let's go exile. So there's, oh, I guess the Ketramose is just online, isn't it? Forgot about the Murktide. Okay, so my opponent goes to 1. I'm at 8. I've got the ability to chump block the Murktide with this Frog, so I'm feeling pretty good. Levy Spike, but this deck is one of the most cursed things I've ever seen. Actually, on this stream, we never talk about the deck I'm playing, the new brew I've made. We just talk about the same 3 conversations over and over, but thanks. Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to do with this attack, but I think I should chump block. All right, again... They go to Bowmaster. So exile up to 1 target card, none. Exile 1 target card, none. They have 1 card in their hand. I guess another Sink into the Stupor. They get to go chump block, bounce the Ketra. But then I don't know. They can't kill me with a Frog. They have another Bowmaster, and this gives them 4 blockers, so they can chump block the Ketramose. I love this deck is just mashing together 3 powerful strategies. I do think it's a bit more than that, because the synergy is definitely pretty overlapping, which is something I like. But yeah, I think it came together really well. Again, it started us me trying to build Mardu and me trying to build Esper, and then me realizing, because I'm like, I really wish I could play Frog and Looting. I'm like, oh, we'll just play Domain Zoom. Okay, up a game against Demir. Yeah, thank you, Grandcast. Grandcast, got to keep it on point here. Okay, let me bring in the Spell Snare. Let me bring in the Stubs. I think I'm going to go down to just 2 Consigns, probably. I think I'm going to go down 2 Lootings. I think I'm pretty okay if Atraxa is just the 1-shot, but still keep a couple as a option to scam. Seems okay. With how RC Trail ended, how do you think the meta will respond? Will there be bans, or will we be in a naughty situation? Well, there will be BNRs in 20 days. I expect Wizards to take action against Breach, but you never really know what they're going to do. As far as how the metagame will adapt, it's kind of unclear. I think there's an interesting metagame dynamic in the format where it's like Ketramose is pretty good against Breach, but there's decks that prey on Ketramose. Like Storm and Eldrazi, I think, are just really, like, Eldrazi's really, really good against Ketramose. I think Eldrazi has game against Breach, but it's probably like a slight underdog, maybe even like just a normal sized underdog. Boros Energies is adapting, but not seeming to do super well, which I think is a nice place for Boros Energy to be. I did top 8 the event. I don't know. I think again, the metagame is not perfect. But Modern is healing, I think, and on the right direction compared to how it was post MH3. Ketramose didn't seem that good against Breach given the RC results. Ketramose is not that good versus Breach. Well, it certainly was good against Breach when it first came out. I agree that the Breach players have kind of adapted against the Ketramose decks. I would also say that the selling point for playing Ketramose was that... do you keep this? Yeah, because... Oh, what's weird about going to discard is we have this Leyline, though. I think in this slow matchup, we're going to keep this. The selling point to playing Ketramose was that you're pretty good against Breach and pretty good against Energy. Ketramose was beating up on Breach early. And It also just kind of seems like the Ketramose decks can readapt to be better against Breach too. You know what I mean? But I agree that the Breach players adapted against Ketramose for this event. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I'm just totally off. I know I will laugh at you saying this. I think Modern is fine. I'm having a blast. I won't laugh at you for saying that. I also am having fun with Modern. I think Modern is about as good as it's as good as it's been in recent memory. I think change needs to happen, but that doesn't mean it's not good. So should I upkeep? I think I should upkeep Surveil here. I'm basically just trying to draw a 2-drop. If I draw Looting, I get kind of punished, I guess. Oh, sorry. I keep messing up my stupid. I need to get the other Surveil land. I keep forgetting Marsh Flats can't get this one. Might lose the game because of that. Let's see if game 3, I guess. Yeah, but I think that's even exactly my point, Draven. Is Modern is good at the moment. It's healing. It's headed in the right direction, but it needs to continue to heal from the gargantuan flesh wound that was MH3. I was curious into mixing these two decks, Zoo and Goryos. Yeah, I think as face value, I cannot find the synergy overlap, but it's obviously working, so I'm sure I'm missing something. Yeah, so I guess probably a good time to go over this again. So this actually started off as just a Goryos deck. I was trying to build Mardu Goryos with Ketramose or Esper Goryos with Ketramose. I guess I need to keep this. I was trying to build one of these two because I thought that there was an interesting overlap. Oh, sorry. I'm gonna hit myself. Why I wanted to build around one of these two ideas, either Mardu or Esper Goryos with Ketramose, is that yesterday when we had Ketramose in our Mardu list with Detectives Phoenix and Flage, we were more in on the graveyard, but we did not care about graveyard hate because we just because you just get to play a Ketramose if your opponent's exiling your graveyard. And so I found the idea of being a graveyard-focused Ketramose deck to be really compelling. And so I wanted to go further in on that idea from yesterday and play a Goryos build instead of one that's just playing Flage and Phoenix. So I started off with Mardu for looting, and I was looking at Esper for Frog, and I'm like, boy, do I want to play both. And then I'm like, well, instead of just wishing I could play both, what if we did play both and we played it in Domain Zoo? And there's extra overlapping synergy too, where looting lets you loot away top deck Leylines. Territorial Kavu lets you loot away Atraxa as well. And also when you're playing like the Domain Zoo cards, your plan B is even better too. So I think it ended up working out pretty well. Okay, land, sorcery, artifact, creature, instant. Also, another thing too is Atraxa gets to draw a lot of cards here in this deck. I kind of think they have a stub, or sorry, a subtlety. So that's all I got here, and I think it's been going pretty good. Yeah, I think so too, Mista. We were definitely seeing signs of a healthy modern metagame, even if it's not perfect. It's a good way to put it. Yeah, there have been some classic Goryos builds playing Binding, so yeah, it's not so, I agree, it's not so weird for you to play these cards together, but I don't think I've ever seen like the aggressive elements. Amulet top hitting 3 of the last 6 RCs while being played less than 8% of the field is wild. Or completely expected. My Steam Deck. I'm so happy I got my Steam Deck. I get to see this message every day. I never use it. Okay, looks like lag has stopped. All right, so do we chump block this frog? Seems incorrect. We say K Command is still the best card besides Breach, of course. I mean, it's definitely up there. I have a hard time saying these days. All right, they found a Nile Spellbomb. I do have another Atraxa in the yard. I have another Atraxa in my hand, too, on the Goryos. All right, let's just attack for 4. I might hardcast this Atraxa. No, not Steam Deck, Stream Deck, sorry. Which is somehow a different thing. Huh, so they did have subtlety. Put that on top, I guess. Yeah, I played like one round of Slay the Spire at 2 a.m. one time, and I didn't really understand what was going on, and I haven't returned to it yet, but one of these days, I'll give it an honest try. So I can't stub that. I also don't have another basic land, but I do have Domain still, and I have all my colors with the basic planes. But I don't have enough colors, I guess, to hardcast this Atraxa anymore. It's like Blotro. I have heard that comparison. Yeah, just attack with the frog. And I think we can... Oh, they can't wreck the spell bomb for the card. I'm okay if we play a game where we both discard our hands here. I think that's a game I'm ahead in. I do kind of want to keep the Goryos, because they might pop the spell bomb for a card. It is a little annoying that because of the Harbinger, I'm not able to double Goryos. It is nice I have stub plus Goryos up though. With Magus and Leyline, what mana the lands make? Whichever one came last. But this is a basic, so Harbinger doesn't affect this one. Saving this for a sink into the stupor, I guess. They have a 5/5 Murktide. We can instant Goryos, they pop bomb, then we can discard cast Atraxa Goryos again. I guess that seems to... Although, yeah, we have stub up too. Seems to be the plan, huh? Get got by a double snare, snare force, maybe. Too bad I can't just hardcast this, and then Goryos it if they have a counterspell. Just resolved. Let's go. Okay, so we'll definitely take the Consign. I guess we might as well take the enchantment. Frog is the only creature here I can cast. We can also cycle the Spara's Headquarters. Kind of the best land to hit. Oh, probably shouldn't have played my land. I mean, they're also probably dead. But I should probably have just discarded the land to Frog. Yeah, so my opponent is not going to be able to kill both of these Scions because I have 2 lethal attackers. Oh, they also didn't block with the Frog. That's got to be a mistake. Have I tried Murktide and Esper Catcher yet? I played Soul Flare instead of Murktide, thinking it was kind of interesting. I played Murktide. Or sorry, Soul Flare. Sorry. With Stripe River Winder. And I think we played... Not that much of it, but I remember thinking that if you were a catcher gamer, it was probably a good thing to try. All right, 3060. It is a one-land looter hand. I think I'm going to mulligan, though. Happy to keep this one. Let's go back to the headquarters since we have the ley line. Get the black-red one. How did the Ant-Affinity deck go? We 3-2'd our first league, and I think we either 1-2 or 0-2'd our second. So not amazing, but I think it was an interesting build, and I think I play the Frog this turn, and then I Goryo's next turn. Is there a world where Emperor Bones is better than Kavu? I don't know. Like Kavu is like both of them enable Ketramose in basically the same way, but Kavu like also loots for you, which is so nice. And it's also just like higher quality creature. They pitch a Terminus, so we're up against miracles, huh? How do you go about building a domain mana base? Do you need Shock Triumph combo that gives domain, cast for all Kavu turn 2? Yes, in this case, my good friend Andrea Mingucci had already kind of built this mana base, so he's been playing, you know, this kind of deck. And so I started off with his build, and I ended up cutting the basic mountain. I ended up cutting the basic mountain for a copy of Raucous Theater, thinking I wanted an extra black source and extra surveil land. Wait, I guess I didn't click the land. Okay, not the biggest deal, but I thought I had clicked one. Yeah, I thought I had selected the Wooded Foothills. Oopsie doopsie. It's a Teferi? It is a Teferi, so I'm not going to be able to consign my Atraxa. And they bounce the Leyline. Seeming pretty punished by the land misclick. Gonna make sure that I exile enough cards with the frog to be able to play Ketramose, or try to at least. When I consign it there. Well, they have a Teferi Time Raveler. You can't consign that, right? When there's a Teferi Time Raveler in play, each opponent can only cast spells anytime they could cast a sorcery. No, you don't see this card too much anymore, but that is still the text on it. Alright, so hopefully we can kill the Teferi with the frog. I'm going to discard one Leyline here. Frog does draw a card if you hit Planeswalker, by the way. That's Teferi, not the 3 mana. No, this is the 3 mana Teferi. You're confused somehow. I know you don't see this one too often in Modern anymore. So what's the plan? My opponent, you know, is going to have some counter magic here, of course. It's kind of nice that we can consign a Terminus trigger. I think I'm just going to bait with the Kavu. And paper, you can Teferi check them. I mean, that is, you know, as fun as this conversation is, that one is actually just unequivocally cheating. Okay, so do I consign the Snapcaster ETB, or do I try to save it for a Solitude? Sorry, for a Terminus, rather. Or it could be Solitude, too. Let's save it for a Terminus. Or Solitude. Could be long. Could be wrong. Okay. So let's start off by casting a Ketramose. Because I want to give the frog flying, and I want to give the frog flying while I have Ketramose in play. Although I guess the problem with them having 5 mana is the problem with them having 5 mana, if we consign the Miracle Triggers, they could just hard cast. Although I may be able to kill them, so I can go discard 2, draw another card, discard 3, draw another card, discard 3, draw another card. So that's going to be this hand plus 3. So that's 7 plus 3, that's 10. So this is 12 power plus 4. Now, I wonder if there's a way I can keep a Consign for a Solitude. Not exactly acting like they have anything. Right now this is 11 damage. 12. Okay. Cool. What was that, Athena? Alright, I think I'm just going to go in the blue counter spells, out the bindings. I guess the Leyline could maybe cut the Leylines. I mean, hexproof on like Leyline Scion's still pretty good. They do play a lot of planeswalkers, and I think that they don't have that many answers to binding game one. They play. Oh, they have Teferi, which is kind of, you know, both a target for binding and an answer to it. They have Jace the Mind Sculptor. Gab has been playing a Wandering Emperor and a Hero of Dominaria. Yeah, I think we can cut the ley lines. These ley lines, not these ones. Maybe you could be kind of worried about the Field of Ruins. So you could probably hear the dogs playing with each other. Let's give this one an honest try. Seems kind of borderline, but let's keep. Graveyard's Castle Vantress, Modern Healed, confirmed. We've drawn 2 lands, so I kind of wish we had sent this one back. Well, we're a Faithless Looting deck, at least. Actually pretty bad to have the basic planes in my hand against the Field of Ruin deck. Well, okay, let's see if we mill over Atraxa. Let's play the Kavu, I guess. Yeah, I don't think I've ever spliced Goryo's Vengeance. I kind of am getting a vague memory of, like, maybe it was correct to do so one time, and it wasn't really a play on my radar. But I'm pretty sure I've never actually done it. Okay, Solitude pitch a Terminus. Yeah, they're just going to field my other Goryos, huh? Or some other Raucous Theater, but I need to get it to play the Scion this turn. And I need to graveyard the Frog because that's my last black source. I guess I just want the other ley lines. Yeah. I can't beat the field on the black source. Alright, these ones actually. Game 3. Those ones actually. Have ever reflected on my impact on league play? Nah. Alright, pretty sure we need to go headquarters into Blood Crypt here. Play the Scion, get some pressure down, get stub up maybe. Maybe I could go. Maybe I could wait and play Scion with like I could go looting this turn. I feel like I like getting it out underneath the counterspell. Although I could stub counterspell next turn. All right, I guess this is all enough of a reason for me to cast looting here instead. This Demons is a little bit weird because I would want to be like go Arid Mesa and either hold up Surveil or a blue counter magics, but probably just gonna shock first now. Graveyard's a Jace. So they have Leyline Binding in their deck? Seems like they do, and this was a Leyline Binding. Oh, I don't have domains. Pause. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. They could just click something else. The Triumph kind of implies it. I was working on Miracles last night, and I was going over Gab's build on mine too, and oh wow, Field of Ruin. Okay, they are going after my black source again, but this time I still have a basic. I also have ley lines in my deck to theoretically do something. Okay, so we need them to not have another Field of Ruin so badly here. Don't have another untapped black source. Including a solitary confinement, my enchanter stack to copy with shifting woodlands. Okay, they have another Field of Ruin. So we can't go for the Arid Mesa here. You could not consign field. This does not stifle huge upsides. Paper only play. Yeah, what's nice is we've got a good amount of pressure on our opponent. Like I also think they'll probably just fire off the field here. They know it's a Stone Rain. Okay, so I have the option to... the problem with fetching my Surveillant to cast the Scion is they can just field it in response to the trigger, right? Yeah, so I think I just have to attack. Now, I think they're going to hardcast a Solitude. I'm going to consign that trigger. But then them attacking with the Lifelinker is not exactly super duper ideal. Stub puts me pretty shields down. I have 2 black sources, but the first one's been fielded already. We also have the ley lines. Gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go because I think we're gonna end up getting into a fight over the terminus, so we may get them to tap out of the field. We may not. So I think what we want to do here is I want to consign without replicate because I want them to counterspell this so that they can tap out of the field. I'm also totally okay with them hardcasting this terminus, of course. So they Solitude pitch the terminus. That's bad news. It's crazy how well they're playing around the the second black source here. What can you do? I don't think they're ghosting, for whatever that's worth. Almost tapped out of it. They don't really need to correct the field since uncorrect fetch isn't tough for mana. Well, that's true. But you know, they have been like just declining a free Stone Rain for a while. Again, I'm saying their play is good. That's all I'm trying to say here. That this is a very good play they're doing. I think that we probably have entered the state of no return. Obviously, the second field was just pretty unfortunate. And you know they're just committed to never tapping out of it, and we just are probably going to lose this game because we only have one untapped black source, and they drew the second field. What do you think of Boros decks having 4 Molten Rains in the sideboard? That seems fine. Probably going to be going to match number 5 soon. You know, Mingu was only playing 1 black source. I added a second. Oh, this is my only fetchable left. Okay, I guess I'm looking for Leyline, huh? Let's go. Oh no, Field of Ruin is a 4 shuffle. Oh, I do still have Thundering Falls. Okay, cool. Calculated. This Marsh Flats keeps throwing me off. All right, Leyline, come back to me, baby. All right, I yield. Good job, Gab, putting the fields in your deck. Not trophying. Let's get a 4-1 prediction going. Keep. Put us in a mold of 6. Cal 25. Haven't been around a ton lately, especially with Magic Online. Sort of taking to a back burner with other hobbies and whatnot. Yeah, I'm glad you're still staying subscribed. I really appreciate it. Hope you're enjoying your other hobbies. I've been doing a lot of other stuff too. Still really enjoying building decks and stuff. Today I'm picking out paint for the new stream room. I think I'm gonna go with purple, but I'm gonna be kind of impulsive, I think. Pretty good one. How close to playable is the Paradox Outcome deck you have in Moxfield? It's not playable. I knew it wasn't playable when I registered. I thought it looked pretty fun. I do not recommend it. I think we got to graveyard this Goryos. Yeah, I'm not sure what color purple. I think I would want to do like I'm thinking I would do 3 purple walls and 1 black wall is my current thought, but I'm gonna go in with an open mind. Oh, this is the blue-black rock deck. Cool. Reading more Stormlight. Yeah, I'm like 900 pages into Words of Radiance. Okay, gotta keep a frog. Cool. Yeah, they are a Saga deck, so I should keep up the Consign for like Shadow Spirit, Nile Spellbomb. I mean, I wouldn't Consign Saga Chapter 1. 100 pages left to win the truth. Cool. I don't know what the next book in the series is called, so I don't know which number that is. I'm liking it though. I would recommend it. My copy kind of fell apart, so I bought another one. I think the print quality was pretty bad. All right, we're digging. Yeah, I don't want to say anything about the book I'm writing. I'm glad there's been a lot of questions about it. I got the 5th chapter done last week. It's been going kind of slow, but it's making progress. I'll say more probably in like in like 2 years probably. I really don't want to say anything. But I appreciate the curiosity. They graveyard an Oculus. They hit me for 4. I feel like they may be thinking about holding up on Earth versus casting, or holding up Counterspell versus casting on Earth. This is the route they went. I don't think I want to consign this Manifest Dread because the consign is just like so game winning if I draw the Goryos. We're looking for a Scion. We're looking for a Goryos. I guess we are now flashing back a Looting. If we find Goryos, it's kind of weird. All right, kind of weird. So let's just go ahead and discard Atraxa and then discard the Marsh Flats in the main phase of Binding. I think this is going to be appropriate. Hey, Fran, good to see you. Yeah, I spent last year drafting the book, and then I've spent Dobbs, Exact Seized, and then I've been actually writing it this year, which has been really fun. Averaging like 1 chapter every 2 weeks, and then I really want to get those numbers up. Jesse, my friend, RC champion Jesse has been posting how she's been doing 1,000 every day, 1,000 words, and I want to get there eventually. Just tough with all the other things I'm juggling too. All right, where are we at? It's gonna be a hard matchup to sideboard him. I think I'll do this plan which you did against Demir Frog earlier. Seemed like it worked out. Yeah, Pro Tour and Worlds qualified Jesse Robkin out of retirement. Dude, I'm so happy she won. Do you have a background in writing? A little bit. I wrote for Channel Fireball for a while, and when I was in college, I was an English major. I dropped out of college. I have been a professional writer for some amount of time though, but very different, just technical Magic writing. Has anyone ever won an RCF and LCQ before? No. 50 words a night for Coraline. Wow. But just with everything I'm working on, it's just a little bit of progress every day. You know, I'm exercising every day. I'm eating good every day. I'm working on the game design a little bit every day. Writing a little bit every day. Prepping, and then Magic a lot every day, of course. Could this spell support 2 Dark Blast? I don't think so with the Goryo stuff. My ring light is breaking. Yeah, with the Goryo stuff, it seems tough to support a Dark Blast, probably. You could maybe do it. Well, this hand is pretty goated if we find a land. I think we're 21 lands, right? 21. Yeah, the math is just not going to be there. You find, as other content creators say, the more time you put into content creation, the more money you make. I mean, of course, yeah. There is kind of a weird dynamic maybe on my stream. Hold on. Let me sample size 2 successes are going to be 20 or 19 because we're fetching. I think even if this is 55%, I'm mulliganing. It's 59? Let's keep it 59. So there's just kind of a weird dynamic, right, where a lot of the money I make and the success I have is kind of dependent on how popular the modern format is and how open it is too. So if I get to play a modern environment where there's a lot of new stuff to do and there's just been a big unbanning or a big set release, it's kind of easier. It's easier to build decks when there's when the format's open, of course, and there's a bunch of new stuff. And it's also I also a lot of it seems to be kind of out of my control. A lot of it's kind of just how popular is modern, how open is modern, which is fine. It doesn't change a ton either way. But I guess what I'm saying is a lot of times I make the least money when I'm working the hardest. During the MH3 era, I was putting in way more hours than I usually do, just trying to get decks together, trying to. Oh, sorry, I'm fixing my ring light against surgical. I could have discarded. I don't know if I care about if I would discard any card in my hand to stop the surgical from resolving. Maybe I should. Anyways, during the bad MH3 era, I was putting in a lot more hours than I ever have, just trying to find anything to do because the format was so bad, and it was a lot of hours, and for the least views I've had in years. So, but it's just it's also kind of nice that it's just more out of your control in life. It's good to focus on what you can. So this attack means that they have Thought Scour. What else could a Bowmaster? Fatal Push, and I guess it's just Fatal Push and they want me to block and discard a card. Do you find viewership goes up when you find a really strong brew? Yeah, for sure. But it's the easiest way for it to go up is there's a bunch of stuff to do. All right, I guess we win the frog fight if they want to discard their whole hand here. Money, it's always about money, isn't it? If I ever own business, I'm not going to care about money. Is that a quote? It's not all about money. I love what I do. And it's nice that I can do this professionally. I have no trust fund, though, so I got to think about this stuff sometimes. It's a quote from Michael Scar. Oh, I see. It's been a while since I've seen Michael Scar. Wait, why did they give the frog flying? I didn't give my frog flying. I just kill either another Goyf. They discard an Oculus. I'm going to discard a Ketramose. So if the last card is Unearth, I can stub that if they let this happen. Oh, yeah, maybe the Leyline is what made them think it had flying. Good call. I think that's actually right. Yeah, it's not really a good situation for them to be like, okay, I'm going to discard my last card to make you discard your last card, but you have a 5/6 frog. But I'm feeling really good with my last card being stub. They play Polluted Delta. Feel pretty good about that also. They crack it to grow the Goyf. Not the worst to draw land because then the Ketramose is online, but I think with the frog going on, we want to be digging for one of our many good 2-drops here. Alright, so we get them down to 9. We draw Goryo's Vengeance, so I guess I'll be Goryosing the Ketramose end of turn. Wait, didn't they surgical Goryos? they left one in! They just left one in my deck. Oh, they top decked another Unearth. Alright, we have a game. I can make them chump block the frog with the Oculus unless they manifest another frog. Yeah, when we've been talking, I haven't even like mentioned that Goryo's Ketramose is a thing too. When we've been talking about this deck's like overlapping synergies, but this is pretty real, I think. Okay, well, I now have no more Goryos left in my deck. Draw a card. Dude, if they manifested a frog, it's going to be so crazy. Seems like I can... Alright, so I can just exile here and draw one more. I'm looking for a Leyline Binding, of course, or Stub. Okay, so I guess if we need to find a Binding or a Stub, I can crack the fetch, discard these 2, exile those, and then still play the Kavu. I guess I won't need a Stub. Just a Binding if this is a frog. No, it's not a frog, though. Oh, great. Paid actor, paid actor, paid actor, paid actor. I don't know how I'm ever beating these allegations. Game 3. Alright, I think I like my summer plan. Let's get back in there. So, I mean, putting the second Leyline into play to play around Sync is kind of nice, but I think between Frog and Kavu and Looting, it's better to try to discard it for value. The Goyfs look a little bit weird in their build. I mean, maybe we just haven't seen a Mishra's Bauble yet, but I would hope they have Mishra's Bauble if they're playing Goyf. I don't know how they fit all the Goyfs and the Baubles and Unearth and Oculus and everything else in. Okay, so probably losing the frog, right? They took Ketra, so I guess they have a push. I'm gonna play it out. Or cast the frog. They can also ask me for everything on our deck. That's true. I'm just trying to visualize their deck list. I'm having a hard time, right? Like they also have Thoughtseize, which is in stock. They seem to have multiple snares. Like they might not have Mishra's Bauble. We haven't seen their card Mishra's Bauble yet, but I'm basically never registering Goyf without that card unless I have other artifacts like Hollow One. So they have 3 cards in their hand. I drew another frog. Hop, hop. Not discarding our hand here to try to block. Down to 12. What are we consigning here? Our Atraxa sacrifice trigger to Goryos. Or to Ketramose. I think the suggestion of just playing Persist Archon instead of Goryo's Atraxa is kind of interesting. We do have Persist targets. How good is Archon of Cruelty right now, though? Is Persist Archon better than Oculus? I mean, yeah, this question gets asked sometimes. Yes, I would rather Persist an Archon than an Oculus if I had that choice. The nice thing about Oculus is you could just cast it for 3 mana, but... Okay, well... Cast... Patchwork Beastie came second in the challenge. I love... If you are a Witherbloom command gamer, I love you. You are just truly the happiest. The happiest of all of the modern gamers, I think. So, there are currently no cards in exile. If there was even one, this would be a bit easier for me to just exile 6 things with my Frog. And then Goryo's the Ketramose. Okay, I think... is there any way for us to get... one more card in exile pretty easily here? I would have to discard this Leyline. Seems like something I need to... Like, if I don't draw anything, I need to go Goryo's Consign. Alright, so they got 3 cards in their hand, they got 7 life points. I drew a Leyline Binding. Yeah, let's just... It ain't pretty, but let's go for it here. Gonna replicate the trigger. Pretty all in. Four cards in their hand. Want them to play a creature. I don't know why I set that upkeep stop, because they get their manifest trigger if they cast an Oculus anyways. Okay. Why did you have to replicate? Well, there's not much reason not to, right? Because we don't have anything else to do with the mana. But replicating lets us play around a counterspell. Thank you, Trogon. Welcome, welcome. Glad you like the YouTube. Glad you're here. All right, we are a Faithless Looting deck. Let's just hold these in our hand. All right. Feeling pretty good. So they maybe made a big mistake playing this Strand out, because now their Frog is just going to die to the Ketramose. You know, maybe I should have been playing out the Blood Crypt, because we are also an Atraxa deck. I'll play the Blood Crypt tap this turn now that we have another card. Yeah, just Consign for the Goryos. Okay, cool. So before we won this league, deck looked pretty good, I think. Again, it's like I started off as Mardu, and then I was building Esper, and I'm like, I really wish I could play both Frog and Looting, and then that's kind of how we got here. Let's open these chests. I'm gonna pivot over to the backup deck, but yeah, I think this is a pretty nice take on like these archetypes. I would encourage you, if you're a Goryo's gamer, if you're a Zoo player, or if you're a Ketramose gamer, give this one a spin, see how you like it, see if you've got any ideas for it. Not a lot in the chests. Maybe one day we'll Hex Drinker again. Okay, but backup deck was a suggestion from YRG to update our Green Sun Zenith Bright Glass Gearhulk deck with Outcast.